Kids have been home more in the last month or two, but that doesn't necessarily mean they've been safe. Predators have been sharing tips with each other on how to target them. Tonight we take you inside the new state-of-the-art police centre, leading the fight to protect our children.
It happens everywhere, in every home.
Is that offenders are now going into the online world.
They are saving lives here. They're stopping children from being sexually abused.
If any of us saw even a few seconds of what they call child abuse material, it would shake us to our core. But the men and women who work in this building trawl through hours of it every single day. And life in lockdown has sadly meant there's a whole lot more.
My name is Lisa James. I'm a federal agent.
Lisa James works on the front line to keep our kids safe online. Every day she investigates reports coming into Australia of child abuse.
Not all reports have videos or images, but some have one, some have, many hundreds attached to the report. Sometimes it's chat, and sometimes it's a combination of those.
They compare their work to triage at a hospital emergency department. The most critical reports receive top priority.
Any indication that the child is at risk, an imminent risk, would put that to the top of our list.
This isn't a normal job, is it? I mean, how urgent is it for you to get those reports acted upon?
It is your number one priority for the day, to get that job out before you finish work.
Once they track down a physical address, it's usually over to the state police authorities to make the arrest.
It takes a network to break a network.
Assistant Commissioner Lisa Gale takes us through the terrifying statistics of how COVID-19 restrictions have created a surge in these sickening crimes. Reports of child abuse material to the Australian Federal Police have more than doubled.
What we're seeing, Dan, is an extra 1,000 reports a month being received, which is really quite concerning for law enforcement and a significant increase from this time last year.
She says sex offenders who used to trawl the real world for victims are now searching online, even exchanging notes in chat rooms named COVID on the dark web.
Offenders are talking to each other and giving advice on how others can commit offences against kids while social isolating. It's a real concern for us.
These sexual predators speak the language of a 12 and 13-year-old. They are experts in the interests of these children. So they know that words and the movies that they're watching, the series that they're watching on Netflix at the moment, they know the characters.
Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton is known for his hardline approach in deporting foreign criminals from our shores, in particular sex offenders. But it's this new Australian Centre to Counter Child Exploitation that he lists as one of his proudest achievements.
I mean, as you look around, you can see that this is not your average police station.
A Current Affair is the first media granted access to film inside the $70 million facility in Brisbane's Fortitude Valley.
The investigators, the AFP officers who are here are really, I think, the best in the world. They are saving lives here. They're stopping children from being sexually abused. It's tough work. Not every police officer wants to do that work, but these guys turn up every day and they are tracking down pedophiles.
Federal agent Drew Viney explains the centre's role in Operation Wawa that was sparked by a tip-off from the US's Homeland Security investigations.
When you get this information from overseas, what does the centre here do with it?
So we evaluated each target as they came in, we identified who they were, and then we'll send it out to the states and territories to move on the suspects.
The two-year operation has so far made 16 arrests across the country, with a total of 728 charges and 4 Australian children rescued.
This children removed from harm figure, how important is that to you guys?
That is the most important figure for everything we do. Everything we do is about removing children from harm.
Last week, information from Australian authorities led to this arrest in the Philippines, rescuing another 3 children from harm. None of these arrests are possible without the painstaking work of viewing the distressing videos and images shared by predators online.
The efforts that we make to identify the individual are focused on the victim. We don't focus necessarily on the offender, because most of the time the evidence we're dealing with, the offender is not visible.
Warren Bulmer is a victim identification specialist on secondment to the centre from Toronto Police. His expertise is in tracing the digital fingerprints attached to files and using enhancement technology to find visual clues, a process that's not too dissimilar to what we see on TV shows like CSI.
My job is, what does the scene tell me? The person themselves is a clue, the bedspread is a clue, the wall is a clue, the electric plug, anything in the background are all individually clues.
The new centre was designed with its staff's mental health firmly in mind as they spend their days viewing things no one should ever have to see.
I think there's a few things that we do when we're actually triaging, like not listening to sound unless it's absolutely necessary, and trying to be quite clinical in the way that you look at the images in the files.
When you're seeing those distressing images, how are you able to leave that at work when you head home?
We try to finish our work where we're viewing the images prior to lunchtime so that you've got time to do other work, which will then take your mind off what you've been seeing in the morning.
Lisa James is a mother herself and has a clear message for what parents can do to help protect their kids online.
You have to know what your children are doing, and they have to trust you to come and talk to you about any mistakes that they've made, because children will make mistakes.
It's inconceivable that we wouldn't talk to our children about safety in the real world, and therefore we should be talking to them about safety in the online world, the virtual world that they all live in.
The Home Affairs Minister has this blunt warning for the pedophiles themselves.
They will be outed, they will be prosecuted, and when they go to jail, I can assure them of this, that their time in jail won't be very pleasant.
We've put together a list of the best resources for parents on how to talk to their children about online safety, and you can find it on our website.